Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go to Chicagoland in both the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, and there you see the news. For today, we have been put on probation by NASCAR for 5 races after that mess we made in the final few laps of overtime at Sonoma. So if we do anything really stupid in the next 5 races, we could face a suspension. Matt Benedetto says, I drove like an idiot at the end and messed up his playoff chances. Almirola says that was a potential win taken away from him. And obviously, we got our second win of the season in Sonoma, improving our resume for a potential new team next season. Now, as we come through, though, into the Xfinity Series here at Chicagoland, we had NASCAR 18 fan in the car for the first time here at Chicago. Unfortunately, Chicago, one of the tougher tracks. We're at that point in the schedule where we struggle a bit in the Cup Series, we struggle quite a bit in the Xfinity Series, and probably going to struggle quite a bit with the Truck Series races that we have here in the next little bit. But either way, 18 fan had actually gotten into the back of the 74 of Mike Harmon at the midway point of this race and shoved him right out of the way as he came through out of turn 3 and turn 4 now on the final lap behind the 51 of Jeremy Clements coming down this front straightaway as he would come through to cross the line there behind the 51. He would go P17, which actually exceeded my expectations, so I was actually pretty happy with that. Now as we come through into qualifying for the Cup Series here at Chicago, crossing the line at 30.673. Unfortunately, we go P19, so definitely have our work cut out for us here today in Chicago, but last time we came to this track, we had a similar qualifying effort with a pretty good finish, so we'll see how we shape up here at the mile and a half, and hopefully we'll have a shot to win. And on the pole, we got Eric Jones.
Welcome to Chicagoland Speedway for the Camping World 400. This mile-and-a-half D-shaped tri-oval is going to be a formidable challenge. Will we see a close finish today, or will someone breeze to victory here in the Windy City? Let's send it down to the track and find out.
Alright, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for the Camping World 400 at Chicagoland Speedway. Tyler Reddick's car is really fast today in the RCR camp, so maybe watch out for him, as well as Eric Jones, who's on the pole and has been dominant all weekend. Jones looking for his first win in multiple seasons. Matt Tift starting at the back at Tyler Reddick looking for his first career win. Obviously, he should have one win, but we kind of robbed him a few seasons back in our rookie season at Homestead, Miami. Now the green flag is out, and we are underway from the 19th starting position here at Chicagoland Speedway. There in front of us, we got Austin Dillon and the 47 alongside him of Ryan Preece as we make this stretch down towards turns 1 and 2 on this opening lap here at Chicago. Jones leads the way with not a very good launch for the 31 of Tyler Reddick. Every once in a while, Tyler Reddick definitely seems to be in the mix. In our rookie season, Tyler Reddick, I think he was actually a lot more competitive than he was last season. In our career mode, like Tyler Reddick was kind of in that playoff picture for the most part, other than the fact that once we went to a short track or something, he would struggle quite a bit. But at the mile and a half, Tyler Reddick would actually be a pretty competitive driver, and here he is today at Chicago showing some competitive speed, at least within the first lap or so now of this race. We would actually drop down quite a bit here on this opening lap, as the short run speed in this car definitely was lacking as we just run here behind the 6 of Ryan Newman. As you guys know, I don't think we're going to try and get into him anytime soon. We're definitely wishing the best. Glad to see Newman out of the hospital, but we kind of had like a storyline pushing towards the rivalry with Ryan Newman, but I think we might actually push away from that now as we came through out of turn 3 and turn 4. Jimmy Johnson sent it up the inside. He got past me. We did pass Newman, so we got back up to P22, and then up ahead of us here on lap 5, Austin Dillon had major issues going up the track into the wall, and around he went as the caution would come out early here in Chicago in the first stage. Very unfortunate for Austin Dillon, who has had a crash early on here in the race after only a handful of laps get completed. Fortunately, though, for Austin Dillon, he would still remain in the race, and he would definitely have a chance to continue on now as we would get back going green here with just 12 laps to go now in this first stage in Chicago. Eric Jones still out front in front of the pack here of 40 cars as we come through the center of the corner. Tyler Reddick still up in the mix. Kyle Busch up there as well. Now there's a bit of a stack up there in front of us, and I got to the back of the 48, the 7-time champion of Jimmy Johnson, who does have one win this season, and we will be competing against Jimmy Johnson in the playoffs. And the kind of question up in air now with Jimmy Johnson in our career mode is how much longer is he going to be in here? We might end up taking over his car eventually now towards especially the end of the career mode when we get closer to like NASCAR Heat 5 now as we would come through down into turns 1. The longer this run went on, though, we had started to gain a little bit of speed. As we came to 10 to go, we had got to the inside of William Byron, to the inside of Clint Boyer, our Stuart Hollins Racing teammate, and we were gaining a good chunk of time as these laps went on, and we got some more tire wear going. We passed Jimmy Johnson. We now had battled up to 14th, now passing Keselowski for the 13th position through turns 1 and 2. We had gotten to the outside of him, nearly getting into the wall there as we came out of turn 2, but we passed Keselowski. We ran down Kyle Larson. We ran down Alex Bowman. We passed the 42 and the 88 as we came through, approaching just 2 to go at this point in the stage. Now as we came through to start the final lap, we had closed in a little bit more on the back of the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Eric Jones still out front at this point with a pretty significant lead over the second place car behind him as we came through out of turns 2, heading down the back straightaway for the final time here in this first stage in Chicago. Close enough to where Stenhouse goes high. We might be able to get a move made on him, and he actually did go high in turn 3, and that allowed me to look to the bottom through the center of the corner, and out of turns 4 we would pass Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for the 10th position, so we would battle our way up into stage points here for a 10th place finish in the first stage at Chicagoland Speedway. So definitely very happy with that finishing result in stage 1. There you saw the top 3, Eric Jones, Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott as well joined them in the top 5 as we would pit for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires as well. I didn't make any adjustments because I felt like the car was probably at the best it was going to get. I didn't really want to mess with it other than the fact that we don't have short run speed. Now as we're ready to go green though for the second stage as we are underway from the 10th position here behind Denny Hamlin, who is joined on that row in front of us by our Stuart Hollins Racing teammate of Kevin Harvick. Jones and Kyle Busch still up on that front row as we go down into turns 1. Kurt Busch slid up in front of us a little bit there, but he gets back down on the bottom. Now is Martin Truex Jr. He's all the way on the top of that 3rd lane as it's once again kind of like the initial start of this race. Not a good restart for myself here at the beginning of the 2nd stage. We're 3 wide with William Byron and Kyle Larson. We lose quite a good chunk of ground there on the entrance of the corner. Stenhouse goes by Johnson, Keselowski, all of them getting past myself as we exit turn 4, heading down this run straightaway. 3 wide behind us between McDowell, Bubba Wallace, and our teammate of Clint Boyer's hit 16 laps to go here in stage 2, but now trying to get settled in after that mess of a restart. Now sure enough, as we came to lap 7, we had only been able to finally now pass Jimmy Johnson and gain our first position of the stage, so it took 7 or 6.5 laps to gain 1 position, but once we started getting that tire wear going again, we had closed in on the back of Keselowski for P14 on lap 10 of 17 here in the second stage. We would pass him for that 14th position as Tyler Reddick was now leading the way as we came through on lap 11, a little bit closer to the back of the 24 of William Byron, just slowly inching closer and closer to him as the laps went on. Now is actually the caution comes out here late in stage 2, which will obviously force a late stage restart. Some drivers electing to stay out on this pit stop there, as you saw a few names blank of not pitting, so we would get ready to go green. We actually didn't really lose any positions, but some drivers, like I said, did stay out, so we would go back green from P15. This would only give us 3 laps to go here in the stage, and we know when the slower cars stay out, this gives us a good opportunity to gain a bunch of positions that we don't necessarily deserve to have, but we are obviously going to attack on this opportunity that has arisen for us now. Is this Tyler Reddick trying to pounce on one of those slower cars to get back out front as we actually got to the back of the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., not really anticipating that checkup quite enough. Now let's go down into turn 3, up the inside of Kurt Busch, Martin Truex Jr., as well as this Eric Jones who's going to go through on the outside, and followed by Kyle Busch. They would go through to take P1 and P2 as we came through to just hit 2 laps to go in the stage. There's another slower car of Cody Ware right in front of Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., so we would climb up to P6, but coming to the white flag, Harvick had actually been able to stick with me. He was so much faster, I didn't even challenge him. I decided to move over, let him have the position. We came through down the back straightaway. Eric Jones still leading the way on this final lap here in stage 2. Joey Logano was closing in pretty quickly behind me as well as we came through turns 3 and turns 4, but I would get a little bit defensive trying to hang on to that position as we came out of the corner, simply because I was hoping we could get a bottom lane restart here for stage 3. We crossed the line going P7, so a very solid stage effort for ourselves, and that will set us up nicely, hopefully, at least for this third and final stage, with Eric Jones getting playoff point number 2, looking like to be a top contender here today in Chicago to maybe get his first win since our rookie season of the career mode. Many must be wondering, when will Erik Jones finally break that long winless streak? Like I said, he hasn't won since the rookie season in our career mode, but I think today will be his best opportunity to break that winless streak and return to victory lane now as we come through 25 laps to go as we start this third and final stage at Chicagoland Speedway. Tyler Reddick, though, up there in the third position, wanting to obviously have an opportunity to get his first career win here in the Cup Series now as we come through on the inside of Chase Elliott, who's got multiple wins here in our career mode so far. Now as we're all over the back of Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, he hasn't won a single race since we've come into the Cup Series here in career mode, so obviously he wants to break a very long winless streak now as we come through out of turns 4. Elliott has the momentum on that top lane. He would be able to get clear of me as well as I know. Like I said earlier, we don't have the short run speed, so I was just hoping that we could stay within the top 10 before our car came in. So if we can definitely hang on to a top 10 position before our car actually starts to come in, I think we're going to have a really good opportunity to maybe be a contender for a very solid top 5 finishing position here today in Chicago. Go up the inside of Logano into turn 3, but he had so much more speed than I did through the center of the corner. He would carry that on the exit. We would drop down to that 7th position for a moment as we came through on lap 46. So we had gotten up the inside of Kyle Larson, and we had came through to take the 6th position away from him. At this point now, the car was starting to come in a little bit on lap 48, getting to the back of Joey Logano, giving him a little bit of a nudge. And as we look to the outside of him as we go down into turn 3, contact made with the 22 of Joey Logano now as he's going to hang on to it. We hit him through the center of the corner, damaging the front end of our car there, as that was just kind of a miscommunication there as I tried to go to the outside of the 22, and he decided to hang on to the higher lane as I tried to turn down. Now it's on lap 55. The 22 would actually go spinning ahead of us now as he came through turn 3, and at turns 4 now as he gets hit by the 1, and up and over the 22 of Joey Logano goes as the caution will fly. A big incident there, a wild ride for Joey Logano now as we would have to pit for obviously fuel, tires, and repairs after that contact with Logano. I took 2 tires, and to my surprise, we come out P1. Definitely not what we wanted now, as I've seen the AI take 2 tires when there was more laps to go in a race with a caution in a late race situation, but this time they took 4 tires and we got messed over. Usually we take 4 tires or something because we think the AI will take 4, and then they take 2. So definitely still just really hard to guess the strategy, but I was planning on getting out of the way of Tyler Reddick and Erik Jones because I knew how fast they were. Sure enough, out of turns 4, we know we're not going to be contending for this win at this point now as Reddick gets to my inside. To see Jones coming with a big head of steam, I moved to the outside knowing that it's really now between Reddick and Erik Jones for this win, so I moved out of the way, and we go from 1st to about 9th, 10th, maybe even 11th there as we go 4 wide there in the middle. Harvick not wasting any time on that outside, hauling past the field now as we went down into turn 3 down to P12. We went from about 1st to 12th in about 1 set of corners through turns 1 and 2, so that was certainly not good. Now as we came through, we would continue to fall down the order on lap 62, now down to P13. Alex Bowman getting to my outside as well as Tyler Reddick was actually pulling away from the field. Erik Jones couldn't quite get himself clear for 2nd place over his teammate Kyle Busch, and he was battling with Chase Elliott as well, so he was struggling quite a bit there as now Menard and Keselowski are going to split us 3 wide there as we came out of turns 2. We dropped down to P16, but we would fight back as we were approaching now the final lap. We had gotten back up the inside of Menard. At this point, my tires were definitely feeling a lot better now. It's actually even on 2 tires, still pretty competitive against some of these drivers here. A little bit outside the top 10 though, as it would be the white flag in the air here as we come through in Chicago. Tyler Reddick leading through turns 1 and out of turns 2. He's looking for career win number 1 now as Bubba Wallace is going to force a 3 wide of the inside of the Penske driver of Keselowski and the HMS driver of Alex Bowman down the back straightaway. Half a lap to go for us, but Tyler Reddick, and he would come through turns 3 and turns 4 looking, like I said, for his first career win, and it would be Tyler Reddick who would come through to win for the first time of his career here on the Cup Series at Chicago as we come through to the line of the inside of Keselowski, but not just enough there to get the position, so we get through to get P15 as Tyler Reddick will win here in Chicago for the first time in his Cup Series career, and that also means once again we get a fairly big playoff shakeup, another surprise winner. How many surprise winners are we going to have this season? It just keeps on going and going. After the race, I said rough day. Don't really know what to say. I should mention Ryan Newman actually DNF'd out of the race, unfortunately, there here in Chicago. But you're about to see the playoff grid after that now is it's certainly not great now. Joey Logano wasn't very happy with us. Obviously, that doesn't really affect our probation much. It was just one of those tiny little contact incidents, so nothing really to affect us now. As if we completely destroyed him, wrecked him, then that could have certainly went wrong for us here with NASCAR. But like I said, I'm going to show you guys the playoff grid right now, and kind of for a reference, Brad Keselowski is, I believe, 9th in the point standings, and he is actually the last car in the playoffs after this race. In the next one, we go to Daytona, where we could easily have another surprise winner. Every time we come to a plate track, we usually do have a surprise winner. There you see Keselowski, the last car in, only 3 drivers in on points. Truex, Jones, and Keselowski. So it's going to be a really interesting. We've already had a lot of surprise winners, and I think we could get another one for sure at Daytona. So we're going to see how that shapes up. Definitely going to be a weird playoffs, to say the least. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. So I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode. And I will see you guys in the next one at Daytona for some plate racing. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next one.